Welcome back to the deep dive. Everyone wants to feel in demand and sought after, and in the business world, that translates to becoming oversubscribed.
Meaning you have more demand than you can handle. A pretty sweet spot to be in, right?
Absolutely. It gives you more control, more leverage, more options. And to help us crack the code on how to get there, we dug into Oversubscribed by Daniel Priestley.
A great choice. It's chock full of strategies to shift your mindset and create that gotta have it factor.
Now, one story from the book really hit me. Imagine walking through Paris, passing this luxury boutique with a line, like wrapped around the block.
Oh, I can picture it now.
People are waiting, like hours to get their hands on a designer handbag, maybe a Chanel. But then you wander a few streets over and there's another shop. Handbags galore, practically spilling out the door. Maybe not Chanel, but similar, right?
Right, serving the same basic purpose.
But the owner's slashing prices, desperate for customers. Crickets. Why is that?
It all boils down to perceived value. That Chanel bag, because it's scarce, because it's in such high demand, it becomes more than just a bag. It's a status symbol, a sign that you've arrived,
Ah, I see. So it's not just about having a great product or service. It's about creating this aura of exclusivity, desirability.
Exactly. And Oversubscribed lays out a framework for achieving this. One of the most interesting concepts is the idea of actually embracing exclusivity. Think about like Studio 54, the legendary nightclub.
Oh, yeah, I've heard the stories.
Part of their mystique was that they turned people away at the door. It created this feeling of you have to be someone special to get in.
And those high-end restaurants with months-long waiting lists, same idea. But wouldn't turning people away hurt your business?
Counterintuitive, right? But no, it actually has the opposite effect. By limiting access, you actually increase desire. It's just basic human psychology. We want what we can't have.
So playing a little hard to get can actually work in your favor.
Fascinating. And this whole idea of making people wait, didn't Apple practically perfect that strategy? They're masters of it. Think about the buzz they generate leading up to a new iPhone release. The anticipation, the leaks, the speculation. It all feeds into this frenzy.
They create an event, not just a product launch.
Exactly. And that sense of anticipation just fuels desire. Even something as simple as a line outside a restaurant, it makes you think, there's got to be something amazing happening in there.
Our brains just equate those long lines with high value. The book also talks about the power of being contrarian, going against the grain. There's a story about a financial trader, Jason Greystone, who built a huge following by doing just that.
Oh yeah, what did he do?
Everyone in his industry was all, trading is easy, get rich quick. But Jason, he was brutally honest, told people, look, this is hard work. You need a specific mindset, and even then, success isn't guaranteed.
So he wasn't afraid to challenge the status quo, even if it meant telling people what they maybe didn't want to hear.
But that honesty, that willingness to stand apart from the crowd, it resonated. People flocked to him because he felt authentic, someone they could trust. So how can we, normal business owners, create this oversubscribed magic?
Well, Priestley outlines 4 key drivers that can really help tip the scales in your favor. First up, innovation. Offer something genuinely new. Whether it's a unique product, a disruptive service, or a fresh approach, it can really set you apart. Think about how Lululemon took yoga apparel and turned it into a whole lifestyle brand.
They weren't afraid to be different, which leads perfectly into the second driver, relationships. Becoming the go-to expert, the trusted advisor in your field, that builds immense loyalty. People want to work with people they know, like, and trust. Think about, like, Roger Federer. He gets millions in endorsements because people believe in him.
That's it. Trust is currency in today's world. And the third driver.
Convenience. In a world where everyone's constantly busy, making it super easy to work with you is a huge advantage. Think about Amazon's one-click ordering. They remove all the friction, make the experience smooth and enjoyable. Happy customers, repeat business.
It's all about respecting your client's time and energy. And of course, we can't forget about the classic driver, price.
Yeah, sometimes the simplest approach is the most effective. Offering the most competitive price while still maintaining a healthy profit can be super powerful. It works for giants like Walmart and niche businesses alike.
Absolutely. But in today's world, even with a fantastic product, how do you make sure your message actually reaches the right people? It's a noisy world out there.
That's where the magic of data comes in. Forget those generic marketing blasts that just disappear into the void. Oversubscribed really pushes for laser-focused, data-driven campaigns. Campaigns that speak directly to your ideal client.
I loved how Priestley highlighted the power of something as simple as an online quiz. To gather all these insights about your target audience. Just by asking the right questions, you can build such a detailed picture of your ideal client, their needs, what they value, what keeps them up at night.
And that brings us to one of the most interesting ideas in the book.
You're going to talk about that shift in how we think about value, right?
You read my mind. Giving away valuable information for free is the new normal. Sharing your expertise, your insights, your unique perspectives without holding back, it builds trust. It positions you as an authority.
It's about demonstrating your value up front. And then you can charge for the implementation, for actually helping people put those ideas into action.
Think about those free yoga classes at Lululemon. They're giving you a taste of the experience, the community, the benefits. Then it just feels natural to buy their apparel.
Brilliant. But building that trust, that willingness to invest in what you offer, that takes time. People need to feel like they know you before they're ready to buy in.
And this is where Priestley drops this little gem, the 7-11-4 rule. He argues that it takes about 7 hours of content, 11 interactions, or exposure in 4 different locations for someone to feel comfortable making a big decision.
It makes sense when you think about it. When we're making a significant purchase, like a car or a house or investing in a service, we don't just jump in blindly. We research, we read reviews, we talk to people.
We want to feel confident. And that applies to your business, too. People need to get to know you, understand your value, feel like they can trust you before they're going to commit.
Which brings us to the concept of being positively remarkable. What stood out to you about this idea?
It's about shifting from just marketing to, delighting your existing customers. They become your biggest fans, your advocates.
It's word-of-mouth marketing on steroids.
Exactly. People buy from people. And Priestley's own company. They thrived on sharing client success stories, showing the real-world impact of their work.
Those stories, those authentic testimonials, that's what really connects with people. It's something that no marketing campaign can really replicate.
So we've talked about the mindset, the 4 drivers of demand, the importance of data, building trust. What's next?
Well, Priestley introduces this really interesting framework called the campaign-driven enterprise. It's all about structuring your year around strategic campaigns to keep the momentum going, stay top of mind, and just consistently generate leads.
And he breaks it down into 3 levels. There are the weekly micro-campaigns. Those provide a steady drumbeat, keeping your audience engaged and interested.
Then you have the quarterly spotlight campaigns. These are designed to create more buzz, drive sales, maybe even attract media attention.
And finally, you've got the big picture campaigns. These are more long-term, focused on building your brand, staying relevant, and connecting with your audience on a deeper level.
It's a pretty comprehensive system designed to keep your business oversubscribed all year round. But even with the best strategies in the world, you can't do it all alone.
That's so true. Before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, we got to talk about building a winning team. Priestley really emphasizes that having the right people in place is absolutely crucial for any oversubscribed business.
He outlines 4 core roles. You have the key person of influence, the salesperson, the operations head, and the finance and reporting expert.
And each role is vital in creating a smooth, remarkable experience for your clients and making sure everything runs like a well-oiled machine behind the scenes.
It's about creating this cohesive, high-performing unit where everyone is firing on all cylinders. It really is. Every piece working together to create something much bigger.
I love that. And there's another key takeaway from the book that I keep coming back to. It's that the really successful, oversubscribed businesses, the ones that leave a real mark, they often stand for something bigger than just their products or services.
They tap into something deeper. A need, a desire, a problem they're passionate about solving.
Think about Tom S. Shoes. They built this hugely successful business model around the idea of giving back. Buy a pair of shoes, and they donate a pair to a child in need.
Creating that emotional connection with their customers by tying their brand to a cause that resonates.
Exactly. People aren't just buying shoes, they're buying into a movement. And that feeling of purpose, of making a difference, that's powerful stuff.
For sure. It's about aligning your business with something meaningful, something that transcends just profit.
Okay, so let's talk about the nitty-gritty of creating those campaigns that really hit home. Priestley outlines 6 key phases to guide the process. First up, planning.
Might sound obvious, but Priestley really emphasizes knowing your capacity. Not just how much you can do, but how much you can do and still deliver that positively remarkable experience we were talking about earlier.
Right, you can't pour from an empty cup, push yourself too hard, and you get burnout, the quality dips, and ultimately everyone loses.
Exactly. It's about setting realistic goals and being comfortable saying no when you need to.
And speaking of knowing your limits, Priestley also talks about really understanding your ideal client, like getting granular. He suggests an exercise where you picture your perfect client, the one you'd love to work with over and over again.
It's about getting crystal clear on who you're serving, right? What are their needs? What do they value? What are they struggling with?
Once you really know who you're talking to, it makes crafting a message that resonates so much easier.
It's like you're having a conversation with a friend instead of shouting into the void.
Exactly. And you naturally attract the right people, the ones who really get what you're doing.
Hmm.
Which brings us to the next phase, building anticipation, creating buzz. Priestley calls it signaling your intentions.
And just as important, encouraging your audience to signal back. It's about gauging their interest, understanding their needs, building that relationship before you even think about a sale.
The book talks about asking for those signals instead of going straight for the hard sell. Offer some valuable content, host a cool event, maybe create a quick survey or a quiz.
Just provide opportunities for interaction, let people get to know you and your brand and vice versa.
Priestley really stresses the importance of warming people up. Build rapport, establish trust, and then make the ask. He even talks about micro decisions leading to bigger commitments.
Think of it like dating. You wouldn't propose on a first date, would you?
Definitely not.
Mhm.
It's about building that relationship step by step. And then, once you've laid that groundwork, you move to the next phase, the oversubscribed release. This is where you make it clear that the demand is high and the supply is limited.
Highlight that scarcity. Create that don't miss out feeling. Limited edition launches, events with limited seating, things like that.
Priestley even talks about using transparency to your advantage. Let people see how many others are interested. It's like that line outside the Chanel store we were talking about.
Exactly. When people see others going crazy for what you have, it creates this psychological pull. Now they want it even more.
Okay, so you've built anticipation, you've created that sense of scarcity, and now it's time to close the deal. But Priestley doesn't stop there. He talks about the importance of having a structured sales conversation that's designed to really convert those interested leads into paying customers.
It's about having a clear process, a roadmap for that conversation. This isn't about being pushy, but about clearly and confidently communicating the value that you bring to the table.
He makes this distinction between a sales conversation and just chit-chat. Chit-chat doesn't really get you anywhere. A sales conversation is intentional, strategic. It respects everyone's time.
And it's about knowing your numbers, tracking your leads, appointments, presentations, sales, understanding your conversion rates, and using data to refine your approach. He introduces this acronym, LAPS: leads, appointments, presentations, sales. A simple way to visualize and track your progress.
So we've planned our campaign, built anticipation, created that sense of scarcity, made the sale. Now what?
This is where things get really fun. Priestley highlights the importance of not just meeting expectations, but exceeding them. He calls it positively remarkable delivery.
It's about those little extras, those personal touches that leave a lasting impression, turning customers into raving fans.
It's about creating those wow moments that people remember and tell their friends about.
And here's another really interesting idea from the book. Priestley talks about the energy that businesses put out into the world. He categorizes it as up energy, down energy, or sideways energy.
Up energy, that's contagious, it's exciting, joyful, delightful. Down energy, well, that's draining. Negative, a real turnoff.
And sideways energy, it's neutral, forgettable, not really going to help you stand out.
So how do we cultivate more of that up energy in our businesses?
Priestley suggests a few things. Surprising and delighting your customers, like we were just talking about, that's a big one. Another is just being genuinely passionate about what you do. Enthusiasm is infectious.
And he talks about setting clear expectations and then blowing them out of the water. Under-promise and over-deliver.
Now here's where things get even more interesting. Priestley makes the argument that in today's world, every business is a tech business.
It's true. How can we use technology to really elevate that customer experience?
It's about using the tools available to streamline processes, gather data, personalize interactions, create a seamless experience from start to finish.
Think about those automated emails that guide people through a journey, or personalized recommendations based on what they've bought in the past.
It's all about making it easier to do business with you, helping people feel informed and valued.
And using technology to create those wow moments that keep people coming back for more.
Speaking of technology, Priestley also points out that every business is now a media company.
Right. We have the power to create our own content, build our own audience, tell our own story.
It's about having a strong online presence, creating content that people actually want to consume, using social media to connect with people in a meaningful way.
Think about those brands that have built these thriving online communities, sharing behind the scenes glimpses, engaging with their followers, creating content that's both fun and informative.
It's about building a brand that people want to be a part of, a brand that feels human and relatable.
Okay, so we've talked about delivering a remarkable experience, but how do we make sure we're constantly exceeding those expectations?
That's where the fifth phase comes in, evaluation. It's about taking a step back, gathering feedback, looking at the data, identifying areas for improvement. Priestley encourages businesses to have regular debriefing sessions to capture those valuable lessons learned.
It's asking those important questions. What did we do well? What could we have done better? What did our customers love? What surprised them? What fell flat?
One thing that really resonated with me was his emphasis on celebrating successes.
It's so easy to get caught up in the daily grind and forget to take a moment to acknowledge those wins, right?
Absolutely. And Priestley reminds us to celebrate those wins as a team, to recognize all the hard work that went into making a campaign successful.
It's good for morale, it builds camaraderie, it creates a culture of appreciation, and of course, we can't forget about rest and rejuvenation.
Running campaigns can be exhausting. Burnout is a real thing.
Absolutely. Priestley really encourages businesses to build in that downtime. Give your teams a chance to recharge and come back refreshed.
Okay, so we've planned, built anticipation, launched our product or service, delivered a remarkable experience, evaluated the results, celebrated our successes. What's the final phase?
Innovation. It's about taking those lessons learned and using them to create even better experiences in the future.
Constantly iterating, experimenting, pushing the boundaries. Priestley encourages businesses to never settle. Always be looking for ways to improve, to surprise, to delight, to stay ahead of the game.
And he really emphasizes the importance of telling your story, sharing those behind-the-scenes insights, and highlighting the impact you're making.
It's about building a brand that's not just about selling something, but about making a difference, leaving a legacy.
And that brings us back to one of the most powerful themes in the book, the idea that oversubscribed businesses often talk about something bigger than themselves. They tap into a deeper need, a shared desire, a problem they want to solve.
Like Tom Shoes. They built a wildly successful business by giving away shoes to children in need.
Creating this sense of purpose, this feeling that you're making a difference with every purchase.
And that's what connects with people. It's not just the product, it's the impact, the story, the feeling you get from being a part of something bigger.
So let's bring this back to you. What could your business stand for? What problem are you passionate about solving? What impact do you want to make in the world?
These are the questions that can help you uncover your why, your unique purpose.
And when you're clear on your why, everything else just flows from there.
Your marketing becomes more powerful. Your sales conversations become more authentic. Your team becomes more engaged. And you end up with a business that's not just successful, but truly fulfilling.
We've covered so much ground in this deep dive, but we've really only scratched the surface of what Oversubscribed has to offer.
I know I'm adding it to mine. It's just packed with great stuff. But before we wrap up our deep dive into Oversubscribed, there's one more idea that I wanted to touch on. It's how Priestley explores the evolution of business, and how technology has totally reshaped the landscape. He takes us on this journey through time, showing how each wave of new technology has impacted the way we work and live.
He even uses this time machine analogy to show just how drastically things have changed. Like, imagine stepping back to the year 1700. What kinds of businesses would you see?
Probably blacksmiths, cobblers, a candle maker, businesses built around crafts and specialized skills.
Exactly. But then, boom, the Industrial Revolution hits and everything changes. Machines can do things faster and more efficiently than humans. Factories pop up, mass production becomes the thing, and the nature of work is changed forever.
It's wild to think about how technology just disrupts everything,
Yeah.
forces us to adapt and evolve. And Priestley's argument is that we're smack dab in the middle of another revolution. This time it's driven by the internet, social media, AI.
It's like that lag time he talks about. You get a new technology, and it takes a while, sometimes decades, for the real impact to hit. We're only just now understanding the power of these digital tools.
And one of the biggest results of this digital revolution is the rise of small businesses. The playing field has been leveled in a way we couldn't have imagined just a generation ago.
It's true. Small businesses can compete with the big guys on a global scale. They can build online communities, use automation, create personalized experiences that rival any big brands.
It's a really exciting time to be an entrepreneur. And Priestley believes that this shift towards smaller, more agile businesses is a good thing.
He argues that it leads to more innovation, more creativity, a more human-centered way of doing business.
Because when you're not bogged down by bureaucracy and corporate stuff, you're free to experiment, to take risks, to build a business that really reflects your values.
And that brings us to Priestley's expanded definition of an entrepreneur. He challenges that traditional view of an entrepreneur as just someone who starts a business.
Instead, he says, it's anyone who makes valuable things happen, someone who takes ownership and tries to make a positive impact. That's a mindset, a way of looking at the world, a willingness to push yourself and create something new.
I love that. It's about being proactive, creative, no matter what your job is or what industry you're in.
Exactly. And that leads us to the final message that really resonated with me. It's the importance of contribution, of making a difference, using your business as a force for good.
Priestley encourages us to, redefine what success actually means. It's not just about the money, it's about making a meaningful contribution. He shares all these inspiring stories of entrepreneurs who are tackling social issues, supporting causes they believe in, and leaving a positive mark on the world.
It's about building a business that's not just profitable, but purpose-driven.
And he says that this approach doesn't just benefit society. It often leads to greater fulfillment and, maybe even greater financial success.
It makes sense. When you're passionate about what you do and you're genuinely making a difference, people are drawn to that. They want to support your mission, be a part of your story.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Oversubscribed, I want to leave you with this powerful thought from the book. We only get a few trips around the sun. Make the most of yours.
Wow, what an awesome quote. What impact do you want to make? What legacy do you want to leave behind?
Think about what you want to create during your time here. This deep dive has given us so much to consider, from the psychology of scarcity and the power of data to building a remarkable team and using technology in new ways. Oversubscribed is a must-read for anyone who's running a business or just wants to make a difference in the world.
I totally agree. It's a book that will make you think differently, get those creative juices flowing, and help you build a business that thrives. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep reaching for those stars.